There we go.
All right. Hi, everybody. Account owner has to, okay, hold on. Jesus.
All these technical.
I have to consent. I have to.
Oh,
Okay. Hold on. Got it. There we go. Hi, everybody. I hope that part is not on the video. All right. Hi, everyone. I'm Lorina. I'm here doing a video with my friend Kimmie Mathis, and we're just going to have a really fun conversation about all things metaphysical. We're going to talk about multi-dimensions, consciousness, bilocation. What else did we talk about?
inner Earth. We were talking about inner Earth.
Yeah, a little bit about inner Earth and just a whole bunch of really fun topics that I think that you'll find really interesting. And Kimmie is going to start her own YouTube channel. And this is going to go out on her stuff. And she is a Kambo practitioner. I don't know if she wants to talk about that, but she's done a lot of exploration in that arena. And she also works with chicks with spiritual gifts. You can get, well, she can tell you about that. So Kimmie, you want to say a few things?
Yeah, well, I basically am an acupuncturist by my training, and I was a combo practitioner for about 5 or 6 years, but that part of my life has closed. But I still, got a lot of wisdom and experience from that time in the plant medicine community. And then I'm now working with Chicks with Spiritual Gifts, which is a business started by my now past business partner, Terry Tucker. So what I would like to do is take all this wisdom and this collaboration and this talk with Lorina and post that to the Chicks with Spiritual Gifts YouTube channel too. So
awesome. Okay. So, and I've been in this for a really long time, this whole arena since when I was a kid, I had past life memories and also astral projected. So as soon as I was able, when I was about 18, really, I got, head to the bookstore and that was back in the days when the metaphysical section was just one tiny shelf.
Oh, wow.
And started studying, reading books on past life regression and stuff. So that's, and I always had a lot of psychic abilities and interesting experiences. So I've pretty much been in this kind of, as we say, I've had a foot in the other world for my whole life. Yeah.
Straddling it.
Straddling two worlds. Yes, absolutely. All right. So where do we want to start this conversation? But, we talked about a few things.
Let's talk about, I think it's really cool. I'd like to learn more. I know we were talking about bilocation. And I was telling you, I don't really have a lot of experience with that. But then again, you said I might have and not realize. So I'm kind of interested to hear about what you know and maybe chiming in.
Okay. Well, so bilocation is actually when you have an experience where you are conscious and in your body, but a part of you goes somewhere else and you are immersed. So you're still physical, you're still breathing, and you know that you are there, but you're also somewhere else and in that other place and getting information. And so this can happen even when you receive psychic information that you actually might be a part of you's bilocating somewhere else. And you just think, oh, that's just me being psychic, or in a sense, clairvoyant, because it has a lot of clairvoyance that is part of that. And it does have a quality that's very much like astral projection, but astral projection is when you're not conscious of your body. You're out of your body. You're somewhere else entirely. But you can be fully immersed in that environment that you're in, but you still know that you still have conscious control of your body. Yeah. Does that sound like anything you've experienced?
Like the only thing that, like looking back on an experience I had when I was really little, like I think I would like keep some of the skills that we had, when we're born, that, with the spirit world. And I remember leaving often, and like exiting And I actually, this is really strange. I would exit out of this part of my pinky, which now looking back, I understand that is the heart chakra runs through the pinky. So I think I was
Oh,
somehow
okay.
using my heart meridian to like
Uh,
take part of my soul, and I would go play
uh-huh.
on these little steps, um, these
That's
golden
really,
steps.
I don't, that's really interesting.
Really? It's like when you
Yes.
were talking, it sort of jogged my memory, and I'm like, I think I was consciously doing it when I was really little, like
Uh-huh.
and going up into this place that I feel like it was probably the perimeter. I guess the only word I have to describe it is heaven,
Uh-huh.
and
Mhm.
playing with all these other little souls. And I think we were not fully like accepting our contract to be here.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
So
Yeah.
that was
Oh, I
probably like
understand. Yeah.
until one day this nice gentleman came, off the steps and told me like, hey, gently reminding me of, you decided you wanted to be down in this place.
Uh-huh.
And so that was
Yeah.
probably one of the only times I could feel like but like maybe doing readings or like looking at people's energy, like you can go to those places, um, and understanding their energy field or understanding a past life
Mhm.
or even an ancestral connection. Like I guess that would be considered by location in a lot of ways based
Mhm.
on what you're
Mhm.
describing, right?
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. Well, and it's depending on what you're seeing, because sometimes it's it's a projection of consciousness, is what it is. So your consciousness is actually projecting out um, more fully than what normal projection of consciousness is. So um, I think when you're doing a lot of psychic work, you've opened up your higher chakras, and you kind of
Hmm.
often you can go out and over to whoever you're reading and pick up stuff. So that's a projection of consciousness. When you start bilocating is when you're more fully immersed in it and see.
Okay.
It's traveling clairvoyance, really,
Uh,
to use a kind of term from the spiritualist realm, the spiritualist church. Uh, what they talk about is traveling clairvoyance, and also in the ancient if you studied any of the hermetic stuff,
mhm.
they talk a lot about projection of consciousness and there's some study in getting really really good at that, really good. But it's the fine line between where you are, and there are actually practices that you can do that help you. It's kind of like when you start going into a hypnagogic state, which is
Mhm.
close to like sleep state, or they use that term a lot in hypnosis, where you do start seeing things. Um, you can actually learn how to manipulate that and go into that more easily. It's like any kind of trance state. The more you learn how to do trance states, and there are many ways to do that, like binaural beats, isochronic tones using sound. There's also,
Oh,
as far
okay.
as lucid stuff that you would use also for lucid dreaming, there are techniques that you can use to go into that state more easily and quickly. And once you learn how that feels, like you get used to doing it, you can do it. You don't have to have those other things, and you can just think of what it feels like to do that and go into it. I think we talked about that once before, where like in astral projection,
Uh-huh.
when you astral project, there's that kind of vibration that you feel, like
Yes, yeah.
yeah, that
Hmm.
buzzing sound. And when you do that, um, so because I could astral project when I was a kid, and at some point I could just think of that sound and start hearing it and feel the vibration
Oh,
and then
wow.
just take off. So
Wow.
it's the same thing. So like you can train yourself to go into those states more easily um, by using some of those tools like that I just suggested, binaural beats, sound. There's also um, herbs and stuff that you can use to help with that too, that are legal.
Yes. The Mexican dream herb, is that one of them? And
Yes.
and
Yeah.
mugwort, yeah.
And mugwort and uh, oh, there's one more. I forgot what it's called. I'll have to write it and can put it in the thing. Guaya.
Oh, guayusa.
That's it. Thank
Yeah.
you.
That's
Yeah,
part of
that
is that Ecuadorian or Peruvian? It's South American.
is South American. I can't
Yeah.
remember where it's from, but you can drink that every day, like in the morning, and become uh, a better lucid dreamer. We just switched to lucid dreaming.
Oh. You know, I
But
used to have some of that because, being part of, when I was in the plant medicine community, like that was sort of something that people would use as a coffee alternative. And I
yeah.
had read that you could do that for lucid dreaming too.
Mhm.
But I guess I didn't realize you could do it in the morning, like early in the morning or like
Oh
when
yeah,
you wake
just
up.
when you get up, just when you get up in the morning, you can use that. And what happens? So it builds up in the system, but and you don't want to drink it at night. I drank a lot of it once at night. I mean, this is a long time ago. I realized there it has a lot of caffeine in it, and I was so buzzed. It's like, oh, I didn't know it had that much caffeine in it. But so you can drink it in the morning, and it will help you lucid dream at night.
Oh, I see. So you
Yeah,
drink it in the morning and then it helps in the evening.
yeah, yeah, because
Okay.
it builds up in your system. So
Oh,
that will help you with lucid dreaming. But also, it's about learning how to go into those other states of consciousness, kind of ease into them. But the thing is about any kind of when you do trance work or any kind of moving into other states of consciousness, what you have to do is um, you're you're bringing a focus and awareness into it, and you have to maintain that. And that's the hard part, because when you start going into those states, there's a part of you that wants to take off.
yeah.
Like
That's usually what
literally.
I do.
Yeah, and it's easy to do. It's like, wee, all
That's
right, but
that's what I do every single time.
but if you can stay focused in your
Mhm.
awareness and bring your consciousness through that, you have control over that. And then you can decide where you want to go, or you can decide, I want this kind of information, or I want to go here, or I want to connect with somebody who's on the other side,
Mhm.
or I want to go visit my best friend who lives in Nashville, you know,
And,
whatever those things. Yeah.
it- and this
It's,
is in regards to like you're talking about lucid dreaming with
mhm.
yeah. And I was really into this a year ago. You know Jürgen Ziwa, the multidimensional man. Have you read his stuff?
Who?
Jürgen. Um, he's a German
Oh, I know.
guy, and he has a book called Multidimensional Man, but it's all about his
Oh,
diaries and his journals. He was really deep into transcendental meditation.
oh, I have not heard of him now. Is this another book I have to read?
Oh my God, it's a little book, but he has the
Okay.
cutest like man. He's an artist, but he just shared all of his travels because he's written them all
Mhm.
down, all of his techniques. And using this transcendental meditation technique to basically go in a very conscious way into his dreams. And he talks about all of his explorations, his interviews with people in the spirit world, like actually going up to them and saying like, um, what is it like to be dead? And like, what was your process like? And what is life like over here? And so his
Oh,
conclusion
oh, I want
is,
to read.
yeah, this is
Yeah.
the real world and this is our dream. This is our dream state. But what's
Right. Right.
pretty interesting is he does that cute little thing when he first got over there. He said that he would get over there and he would get distracted and then he would just take off flying. But
Oh, yeah.
um
See, distraction.
yeah, and I was really into that for a while, but I had a really big experience where I
Uh-huh.
had the vibrations you were talking about,
Mhm.
and I
Mhm.
popped over into the other side in the
Mhm.
astral world, and it probably would be by location, right? But through your
Mhm.
dreams. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I sort of was encountering people on the other side that I knew, and I
Uh-huh.
was like, but
Oh, I
they were
remember.
avoiding me. And then I was
Oh.
like, I grabbed the one and he said like, I know you, like, and he was almost like my partner, like
Uh-huh.
on the other side. But then I ended up popping into another dimension and found my spirit group, my people.
Oh.
And
Oh.
I just was sobbing because like I remembered like that
Mhm.
was my
Mhm.
family. That was,
Uh-huh.
and I was holding them and hugging them and they were like, no, no, you have work to do. And
Uh-huh.
then I woke up like like hugging
Wow.
myself and sobbing because I'm like, no, I don't want to leave you guys. And so
Uh-huh.
I
That's
sort of had
amazing.
a hard time coming back to that work because it was all that remembrance was a little intense.
Mhm.
So
Mhm. Yeah. Well, it's just not easy to be here. I mean,
Bottom line.
right? There's a lot of stuff we can take care of.
Have you ever
Yeah.
experienced that, like with your soul family on the other side? Have you ever, like, with your travels, like meeting any of them or?
Oh, that's a good question. Um, not, uh, mm, no, well, I did have that one experience where I was actually having an energy healing done on me where, um, and it's this guy, I was sitting on the floor and we were towards the end of the session. It's not a traditional energy healing where you're laying on a massage table or even sitting on a chair. I was sitting on the floor, but I am a floor sitter. I like
Okay.
sitting on the floor. And and it was a quiet moment in the healing. And all of a sudden I saw this level open up. I mean, I literally saw these beings walking out and they looked like angels. They were so incredibly beautiful. And why I say they look like angels is only because they didn't have wings. They had their energy around them. It was almost like these diamond, little tiny diamond shapes as their energy moved. It fluttered these diamond shaped color things. And it was just absolutely beautiful. And they were mostly white, but there were other colors mixed in, and they were all the same color. They were kind of different colors. And there was about 10 of them, I think. But, you know, when you have experiences like that, you don't say, oh, how many people are here? Once, you know, you just, your brain's not working that way. I was just observing them, watching them. And they came up from almost like from the ceiling, but from a level, and they came in. And one of them stopped in front of me and actually started talking to me. And my recognition was, well, there were two, well, these are my people. And
Oh,
and also that the one who stepped forward and started communicating with me, of course, through telepathy, um, said, do you want me to show you how to create reality or you know, manifest? And I said, sure, who doesn't want to know that? And so, and literally I saw these bands of light popping all around him, like these long bands of light. I don't know, I guess a couple inches wide and a couple feet long, all around different colors. And he said, this is how you create reality. And he just went like this, taking his hand and go through these bands of light and just went, oh, this, I want this. And then connected into that possibility, and said, this is what I want to create, and this is it. So and that was it. And then and I don't remember them disappearing, but they went away. And I mean, it was a phenomenal experience, and I did feel like these are my people. So
this is my tribe.
yeah, but I didn't think, I wasn't sad when they left or anything, but it was such an amazing experience that yeah, it was like, okay. Yeah, I've had several experiences like that where I see levels open up and people walk in. And now I shouldn't say people, beings. They're beings more than, because they're not really human. They're in spirit.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there is a recognition of, oh, this is my people, but there was no sadness. There's just awe, really. Yeah.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe this is a good segue into, we were talking about like multidimensional beings and
Yeah.
people existing on different bandwidths and spectrums
Yeah.
of frequencies, like of us kind of talking about that.
Mhm. Yeah.
Because I probably need to expand more of my knowledge of understanding. Because, I've had those experiences, but just
Mhm.
understanding of how that all plays out and how that exists.
Yeah, and the thing about any kind of experience like that, it's how do you know where they're really coming from? Because we're here
Mm.
with this limited uh, consciousness and a lot of filters on what we experience. So how do we connect with that to find out where they really come from, and is that accurate information? Because I was told that those beings that I saw were 11th dimensional beings. Now,
11th
do I have
dimensional?
11th dimensional?
Okay,
Do I know for sure that they're 11th dimensional? No, someone told me that.
sure.
So
Yeah.
somebody in a reading. Now, I don't know what her level of consciousness is or what she can access herself. So I don't know. And how important is that? I don't know. It's fun information. Does it change my life? No. Does it? I mean, these kind of experiences are amazing, but how do we have more experiences like that where we connect with other dimensions? Because I was meditating once where I had an experience where, well, so let me start. I did breath work, and I only did like 20 minutes of breath work, and then I did 20 minutes of yoga, or maybe it was the other way around. Yeah. Yoga, then breath work. And then, but for a short period of time. And then I sat down and meditated, and I suddenly saw myself as a higher self, but my higher self was so immense that I really didn't see a being. I just felt this incredible presence. And then I saw myself as almost like, I think in kind of new agey terms would be considered the Christ itself, because it connected to that, above that, well, not above it, because the higher self was kind of like all encompassing. And then I saw above me, like almost like a line of or level of consciousness from one to the next, was this Christed being. And then I saw myself. So I believe that we can't easily connect into that. It's hard to label it. And that's what we want to do as humans.
Right. Yeah.
That we can't help it. But but I believe, because I've had other experiences, and some of these are through hypnosis, where I am on a Palladian starship, helping fight, do battles, that sixth dimensional or seventh dimensional being. So those are all there, and I kind of see it as almost like a spiral. Like we're here in this 3D reality, and there's the center, which is the soul, or the connection with the higher self. But there are these spirals going up. And in this spiral, there's like these points of consciousness where I'm this here, where I'm this here, and I'm this here, and I'm this here, on other dimensions. And because things do move in spiral, energy moves in spirals. So you can connect with those things, just trying to imagine that and going, okay, where is this in my field? Oh, it's right here. Let me see if I can connect to it and get some information from that place. And you can do that through breath work. Is the easiest way to get there, if you ask me. Anyway, does that make sense what I just said?
Yeah, and actually the way you described it, it sort of made me even think a little bit deeper about like how I think in a lot of ways I have like an engineering mind where I'm always trying to figure out how things work. And the way you were describing that, it brought up the image in my mind of the DNA, helix, like, that being the physical form, of what we can put words to in the energetic phenomena that you're experiencing. And it really brings me back to this thought. Sometimes I was really into like healing my ancestors, and I still am very feel very connected to doing like using your ancestors as part of your guiding path. And but like who's to say too, along that spiral and using that image, that like you can't, that those cellular memories, whether it's in your soul or if it's in your body, you can't connect to those other versions of yourself, or even just your galactic DNA, you know?
And that's how I like to imagine it, actually, is in a spiral. And what you can even do, I'm going to get a whiteboard, and so I can draw these things out.
That's cool.
As we're talking about it, but it's on the list. Things to do. But it's going to be right there.
Oh, look good. It'll look really good.
Anyway, but literally, it's what I do. And I do this sometimes when I do healing for people. I go, it's like, well, where's my boyfriend? And I'm like, okay, well, your boyfriend that hasn't shown up yet, let's see where he is. And I actually have them sit and go, where is he in your field? And this is how you can do psychic work too. It's like, where is it in your field? Like, okay, like, oh, it's back here and it's all the way over here. Okay, so how am I gonna, so there, a change of focus needs to happen because it's all the way back here. So either you're not in the right place, or it's still back here and you haven't shifted enough to actually see that it's there.
Oh, okay.
Or if it's far away, then it's that actually is kind of far away, not as close as you want
It's
it
not,
to be.
yeah.
It's not, okay, it's not right there. So what you can actually do is, okay,
Huh.
so let's just say it's a little easier for me to grab right here. So what this possibility of this boyfriend that I want, he's right over here. So what you can do is like, and it's a ball. So it's a possibility. So we can, like the bars of light, like that experience that I had, or you can, it's a ball. It's this little crystal ball of light, all that possibility. He's right here. So you can actually pull it in to your field, further into your field. And see, okay, so see, I can feel it. So I just pulled that in.
You just pull
here.
a boyfriend
like,
in, Lorena?
What? It's a
You
little
just pull...
uncomfortable. Oh my God. Like, okay, so maybe I'm not quite ready for it. But you can actually have that experience of like, okay, if I pull that in closer to me, how does it feel? Oh, okay, I'm not quite ready. So we can put it back maybe a little closer, but not that far away, so that as I get ready for that, it can actually get into my field where it's like only a couple of months away or something. So you can, but my point was going to be that, so you can do this where are your ancestors in your field, where it's the same thing, it's in your field. So how can I connect with that? It's over here, it's right here. All I have to do is make that connection. And it can be in your mind, it can be in your heart, you can use your hand, but see that connection, feel that connection happening with that thing, and you're there. You've connected with it. It can be that simple. And as I'm talking about, I can feel that happening. So, which is really interesting. It's like, oh, I need to connect with my ancestors more. I can feel it.
That's really cool because it goes back to like using your own inner power, your own inner vision, and your own inner clairsentience to feel, to feel, like to imagine and feel and to bring that all that into fruition, but then also know what that feels like before it manifests even.
Yeah. And you may be able to see it clairvoyantly too.
Yeah.
It's not just a clairsentience thing, a feeling thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because people are really clairvoyant. They might go, oh, it's right over there. They see it. Yeah. And that's how you read auras. It's like what's around them, what's in their field, where's their new house that they want, where's their whatever. Yeah, the new job. How close is it? How far away is it?
And that'd be a really good way to feel if you're feeling into your entire field and to connect to the like higher beings, guides, whatever you call them. Like to get to strengthen those connections to them and to have those experiences,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So it's a matter of where is it? Because they're there. They're there. Yeah, there's your guides. They're always there. And it's just it's a focus attention and ask them to show up. It can be that simple. Yeah.
And for me, like recently, it was through my healing work, I was never like like a person that prayed, but through COVID and everything, like I've been doing these like prayers, like I was really guided to pray for the healing, of and suffering of like almost like I wasn't realizing I was doing sort of like a bodhisattva, which is, bodhisattvas. I wasn't in the mind frame of realizing I was doing that, but I was doing it. And then all of a sudden, like I was in that frequency of praying for mercy and grace for this planet, for humanity, just because of like how intense everything was. And then all of a sudden it was my frequency was being matched to, and I was experiencing Kuan Yin. And I was like, what is this? And then it's like,
that's
amazing.
Well,
it's a matching frequency. It's like, whether it was through prayer, and that's how it happened and showed up for me first. But I think like it's just amazing how we have all these different tools, and they're all so powerful, but we got to do the work.
Really works. Yeah. Prayer works. Yeah. It does.
I learned.
Oh yeah. Well, I grew up with all that, so
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. So what else do we want to talk about? Do you want
I think we have, just so we're on, about 6 more minutes, just so you know.
okay, okay.
Uh,
What else do we
well, we should talk about, because I think it's important. Oh, I
okay.
think next time we should save our topic of, but I think really addressing the whole, because we were kind of talking about, is clairvoyance. Because like,
Okay.
and I know you're a teacher, and you teach many different topics like intuition development and energy healing. I've taken classes with you and they're wonderful. Um, but like, I think there's a lot of misunderstanding about what is clairvoyance, and everybody wants to be
Yeah.
clairvoyant,
Yeah.
you know?
It's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. But okay, so a lot of, and I was talking about this in class a couple of, yeah, this has been coming up a lot. So so how we see, clairvoyance is seeing, our third eye, opening our third eye and seeing. The perception about that is that a lot of people think that we, like people who are really psychic, really clairvoyant, just see ghosts walking by. And then they stop and talk to them like in the movie Sixth Sense. And that really doesn't, that's rare. That is rare. What happens usually is when we see things, it can come in pieces, in little blips, like where you just, and so as that happens, you have to really be good at focusing and picking up on what those like maybe symbols or a person, uh, even messages might be. So you have to really be aware um, and observant of what that is. And sometimes it comes through the side and it's just, and you see it for maybe 2 seconds, but there's information that comes with it. And it's not usually this long, prolonged thing of really seeing something. Now, I have seen things where it becomes like, it starts out smaller and it becomes really big. And I can see kind of this full size image happening. And my eyes might be open, my eyes might be closed, but I can see a person who's on the other side and they're communicating. But it's still not like what you see in the movies. It's just not. It
Mm,
has kind of it's a combination of kind of like by location. You're seeing your reality, but you're also seeing parts of their reality, but
right,
it's in pieces. It's not the full on, unless you're fully immersed by location, which
right.
can happen too. But that takes many years. So it usually comes in pieces. And
Mm,
a lot of times it comes in through your periphery. So it's also being, so that's place of observation where you're also paying attention to not directly in front of you, because we think we're supposed to see it right here in our head. And a lot
right,
of times it comes
exactly.
in outside of what you're paying attention to. And that's why a lot of people miss things. Yeah.
Yeah,
How about
yeah. And I feel
your
like
experience?
yeah, my experience was just like, I think I would describe things as like, I would describe things as like I am seeing. But really my strongest sense has been my astral body, like being able to
Mhm.
communicate how I feel. And it's almost like I can
Mhm.
describe things like I am feeling that I am seeing. So a lot of my clairvoyance is probably 80%. I feel like starting with the words I feel. And every once in a while
Mhm.
I do get an actual image in my head.
Mhm.
But I consider
Mhm.
that clairvoyance. It's a
Yeah.
form of
Yeah.
it, but I don't actually just, see someone standing there in my mind's eye talking to me.
Mhm. Yeah.
But
Well, that reminds me of remote viewing. Now, if you study remote viewing, what you've learned, and even with pendulum work, dowsing, stuff like that, it comes in through the body.
mm,
Information comes in through the body first, and then it comes in
oh,
through
interesting.
other awarenesses. So um, that's why it's really important to, one, know who you are, know how you feel, so that you're not confusing what you feel with what you're picking up in your environment. So there's that discernment and separation from who you are and what you're picking up. That's
Yeah,
huge.
I think that's a great next topic in
Yeah.
our next
Yeah.
because I
Yeah.
think our little
Okay.
time is about to run out, but I
Okay.
think the discernment is key. But yeah, we're about
Yeah.
to lose our Zoom. But
Okay.
it's
That
been a
was a great
pleasure, and I love
conversation.
talking to you all.
Yeah.
You're so smart,
Yeah.
and I
And it
love
was
sharing.
great seeing you. And I hope everyone enjoys this conversation. And if they have something to add on wherever this gets added on the on YouTube, we'll definitely put it up. So please, everybody, make comments and ask questions. We'd love to hear from you.
Absolutely. All right.
Right.
Till
Thanks,
next time. Bye,
Bye,
Lorena.
Kimmie.
Bye.
Bye.
Stop recording.
You're